What's up, you guys? Thank you for clicking on this video. So as you can tell by the title, we recently got news that a Skybound Transformers and G.I. Joe series is reportedly in development by Robert Kirkman, and it has been sold, and it's coming out at some point in the near future, and it's going to be an animated series. Now, it's not officially confirmed yet, but it is rumored by very credible sources in Hollywood, so it's more than likely happening. But again, take it with a little bit of grain of salt until we get official word on this series. But what I wanted to discuss a little bit in this video is, what is this show exactly going to be, and what is this going to mean for the Transformers franchise as a whole going forward? Robert Kirkman, he's the one behind Invincible, The Walking Dead, and if those two series are anything to go by, especially Invincible, because it's based off of a comic book, and it's an animated series, just like what this Transformers G.I. Joe thing is going to be. I think we're in for something very special, guys. I don't know, I can't speak to the quality and what we're going to get in return, but from what we could gather right now, and using context clues and what we already know and Robert Kirkman's track record, I think this is exactly what the Transformers franchise needs right now. And what this could entail, I think it's going to be a general retelling of the comic book. I think they're going to maybe change certain details that they may want to look back in hindsight, and maybe the people involved are saying to themselves, hey, maybe we want to do this differently or that differently. Or maybe it is just a very accurate and faithful retelling of the comic series that we have right now, just in animated cartoon series form, possibly a bit more gritty and darker, similar to Invincible, or maybe just a little bit gritty like what the comic book is. They could go either way, I could really see it, but this is definitely going to be a bit more of a high quality adult type, mature centered piece of content here, not in the same way as the Netflix series, in that sort of cheap, cheesy manner. It's more so going to be, I think, what we got with Invincible. It just makes the most sense. Same comic book company behind it, same dude, Kirkman, behind it. So, but I don't want to say for sure. I'm just speculating, just based off of what's already happened in the past with this guy. It also makes me feel like in the franchise as a whole, they're gunning more for a G.I. Joe and Transformers shared universe. We're getting the G.I. Joe collabs the last few years. Because of this series possibly coming out, we probably are still getting that G.I. Joe Transformers crossover movie, because they want that brand synergy. Hasbro and Paramount talk about this all the time. They like to have brand synergy with the franchise. If something happens in the movies, they want to mimic that in either the cartoons or comics or both, and in the toys as well. Just having things that match up with different sorts of lore and characters. So I do think this is a good indication that we're still getting that crossover movie as well. I don't know if they would want to release them back to back or really close to each other. I say if we do get the G.I. Joe movie, it's probably going to be 2028, 2029 at the earliest. And when we may get this series, I'm thinking 2027, 2028, possibly next year if this thing is already further in development than we think, because this comic book has been super popular for almost 2 years now, guys. Like, this comic is selling really well. I mean, it's not doing like insanely well, but for comic book industry numbers, it is selling fantastic right now. And when I first heard the news about this, I wasn't surprised at all that this was getting picked up for a series, because it's really popular among, pop culture and social media right now. And B, it just seems like the thing to do with these companies: take popular comic books and make them into either an animated series, a live action series, or a movie. That just seems like the rising thing to do in popularity with Hollywood the last 10, 15 years. So I'm really excited, because it's gonna bring to light certain things in this franchise that I think have been missing for numerous years. Bringing something more serious in tone and less kiddie to a piece of media and show that we've been missing since Prime, I'd say. Shedding light on different characteristics and lore within Transformers that we haven't seen in a while, because love it or hate it, Skybound, they are taking the same old G1 designs, but they are bringing things to the table that we haven't seen with these characters before in a little while, I'd say. It's not anything like crazy groundbreaking, but it's something a bit different and throws you for a curve here and there. I haven't read all of Skybound. I think the last time I read it, I was on like issue 8 or something, or 9. I have a lot of catching up to do, but from what I have read, that's the vibe I get from it. So if they could recapture and just, I guess you could say, copy what works with the series. I mean, I would imagine they don't want to deviate too far from the comic book, but they would probably also want to weave different things into it for people who have already read the comic book. They get a little bit of a different experience with this animated series. And they also probably want to cater to normies, get them into Transformers more, get them hyped up for the movie. Because what I think this series also is, it's kind of like a precursor to whatever these movies coming out in the next few years are going to be from Josh Cooley and Michael Bay. I think this is something to get people hyped, to get people ready for what's to come for the future in the next 5-10 years for Transformers media, with movies and figures and the whole 9 yards. So I'm really excited for the prospects of what this show brings to the table, because I think this series by Kirkman is the start of a resurgence. Then you get these movies dropping. I don't know, maybe they want to do it MCU style, where they drop one every year or every couple years. It may be every couple years, but since they already have 5 in development, I'm thinking they may want to bring back the whole cinematic universe angle and see what sticks. Hopefully it's good this time around and it's not a sloppy mess like what we've gotten the last 7-8 years. Short thing here is, I think this series is going to be weaving in things from the upcoming movie, and it's going to be either a direct retelling or a retelling with slight curveballs thrown at you to keep things a bit more different and interesting and separated from the comic book while still being similar. And I also think that this is going to be the future going forward for Transformers content. It's going to be aged up. They're going to want to try and go the whole cinematic universe route with G.I.JOE and everything, which I do really like. But yeah, guys, I don't want to ramble on too much longer. I just want to talk about my thoughts on what I think this Skybound show could entail for the future of the Transformers franchise, and also how they're going to handle the series itself. But yeah, let me know down in the comments below. How do y'all think this show is going to unravel, and what do you think it's going to mean for the future of the franchise? And yeah, thank y'all for watching this video. Catch you guys in the next one. Bye!